Well, for those of us looking to grow our leadership skills and find a work-life balance, there's a lot of advice and noise out there, but this story caught our attention. Author and leadership expert Dr. Lucille Maddalena found inspiration in, of all things, dog sled race teams. Well, she joined us virtually.
Well, Dr. Lucille Maddalena, it's so great to see you. I can see how a dog sled team is such a good analogy for teamwork. I mean, just the pulling and the camaraderie, but can you share with us your perspective on this?
Well, it's a bit more than pulling and camaraderie and getting together to move the sled. It's the relationship with the dogs, between them and between the driver, the musher, and the dogs. And it's so interesting because there's instinct involved. There's situations where your life, your safety depends on the dogs, and you have to trust their instincts, and you have to trust the way they get along with each other. It's just fascinating to learn about. I've done a lot of research now into gut and brain relationships, and that's instinct.
Definitely. Absolutely. Well, and like you said, the instinct, it's so huge when it comes to thinking about it in this way too. Now, I can think of, a bunch of physically demanding things to test your leadership model here, but what is it about dog sled races and racing like the Iditarod that drew you in, especially to this?
Well, there's nothing like being outside and having open fields. Oh, you see the snow and you see the sun sparkle off the snow. The only thing you hear are the dog's paws. And it's very quiet and it's very peaceful, but there's a power there. You feel the power of the environment, and you feel the dogs wanting to move. You see their muscles moving under their fur, and you want to do the same thing. So you push. You don't just stand on the back of the runners. You're pumping the whole time. There's a lot of work there, and you put out that energy because you're part of that team, and you want that team to win. You want that team to have the best possible time they can on the trail.
Yes,
you get that in the gym.
Yeah, that's so true. You really can. It's a whole different ballgame being outside, and us here from Colorado, we're all about the outdoors and making that connection as well. Now, you say there was a specific event that inspired you to write your book, Move On By. Can you tell us that story?
Oh, it's a little bit embarrassing, but sure. It's my first sled dog event and first race, and then the 3-minute intervals, out the chute. And we got moving quite well. Then we came out from an area under trees. So it was quite dark, and then you're in the bright sunshine, and I couldn't see in front of me, but the dogs were very alert, so I knew something was coming up. And they started moving, and I got closer, and I saw a team in front of us. So I'm pumping now, getting the sled moving, taking the weight off the dogs, and we were moving beautifully. And we got up to the sled in front of us, and my job was to call on by, which means we're going to pass you, get into the deep snow, and get back on. I said, may I pass you? I asked for permission to pass, as if I was back in the corporate environment working in the hallway. I wasn't there. I wasn't tuned. But here's the fascinating thing. My lead dog, a little girl, little pup, turned her head mid-stride. We got eye contact for less than a second. And during that second, her paws went out. She wanted to speed up. I shouted on by, and we made the pass beautifully. But that moment will stay with me forever. I learned more in that moment than I did in classrooms forever.
I'm sure. Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. And what great instincts for you to say, wait a second, I need to correct myself. And the dog to look back at you and say, hold on a second, you didn't say what I was.
They got it, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
And I keep carrying that event with me, so it was a good learning point.
Definitely. Oh, I'm sure. And we all have moments like that throughout our days, right? Those big learning moments, which are so great. So what was the most unexpected learning moment for you during your writing process, would you say?
Well, this is really unexpected. I wrote this book for the people I coached, and they're all very successful executives, and they have high performers that they want to promote. So this book was a guide for them to promote the high performers. In the midst of this, my then 1-year-old grandson came to, and we discovered he has osteogenesis imperfecta, brittle bones. During the time I was writing this book, I had to take a breath. And when I was up late night worrying about him, I worked on the book. I just could not get him off my mind. And what happened is that I wound up adding sections on mindfulness, on health, mental health, caring about each other. Joy just seeped into the book because in spite of what he was going through, he brought joy to my life, and you can see the joy in his life. He put up with all this and kept moving forward, and that really inspired me. So the book now has a lot more joy in it than it was started out, and I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of him.
Yes. Yes, it sounds like you should be. And honestly, again, a lot of that adversity to adding to the book and making it so much more well-rounded, which is amazing. Well, I cannot thank you enough, Dr. Lucille. We cannot wait to get in to Move On By. It sounds like there are so many lessons and so many amazing things that we can really correlate our dog sled teams to our workplace teams, because a lot of us have so much to be able to relate that to. So it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, and we cannot wait to read the book.
Thank you. I enjoyed being here. Thank you. Have a good day.
Move On by Dr. Lucille Maddalena is the book that proves that a dog team has a lot to teach us about leadership and teamwork. Well, you can find it wherever books are sold.